welcome back to my channel and happy Monday. I've noticed that I've had quite a few new subscribers come on board, so I do want to give a brief introduction to myself for those that have just joined. My name is Kristen Martin. I am a self-published international Amazon best-selling author of 4 books, the Alpha Drive trilogy, which is the Alpha Drive, the Order of Omega, and Restitution, and also my newest release, Shadow Crown, which just came out 2 weeks ago. I started this channel a little over 2 years ago in the hopes that I could meet some like-minded writers and readers and build a really awesome community of just like-minded people, and also just offer my tips and advice and things that I've learned along my own writing journey to help you in making decisions along your own writing journey. So hopefully I am succeeding in that. Today's video is one that I am very excited to do because it is a collaboration with Project WriteTube. And for those of you that don't know what Project WriteTube is, it's a large collaboration where a bunch of writers on YouTube get together, and through the month of October leading up to November, which is NaNoWriMo, we post writing advice videos to help you prepare to write your novel if you are participating in NaNoWriMo in November. It's just a great way for everyone to connect and build community here on YouTube or AuthorTube, WriteTube, whatever you want to call it. I will make sure to leave the link to the Project WriteTube playlist in the description box below, so make sure you go check out all of these other amazing videos that my fellow writers and AuthorTubers have provided. My topic for today is tips to stay on track for NaNoWriMo. It's October 16th, so we're smack dab in the middle of October, and we are in the middle of Preptober as well. Around this time in November, it can be really easy to sort of fall off the wagon a little bit and stop writing. Maybe you go really strong for 2 weeks and then things start happening, life starts happening, things get in the way, and maybe you don't write as much as you should be, or you just completely get off track. So today I'm going to share 10 tips to help you stay on track for NaNoWriMo. My first tip is to update your outline after each writing session. Now I know there are probably quite a few pantsers watching this video, but if it is your first time doing NaNoWriMo, I highly recommend outlining. I will leave a link or a little card, I can't remember which side it goes on, as to my outlining process and how I form my outlines, and maybe that will help you out. But the reason why I recommend updating your outline after each writing session is because it is so easy the next day to completely forget what you had written the day before. So if you have an updated outline and you take the time after each writing session, say your writing schedule for November for NaNoWriMo is from 7 to 8 p.m. So you write for 1 hour every evening. Once you hit that 8 p.m. mark, take about 15 minutes to just go back through whatever you just wrote and write it down or update it in your outline. That way the next day when you sit down to write, it'll be fresh in your mind. You'll be able to just review a paragraph or a few sentences to remind yourself what you were going to write the next day or what you had already written to kind of get your momentum going, and that way you don't have to go back and read 10 to 15 pages or however much you had written the night before. My second tip is to write 1 to 3 sentences for the next day's scene or chapter, basically a brief overview. So this kind of ties into my first tip, but if you're going to take the time to update your outline, then it's a smart idea to also take just a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to sit down and write kind of your ideas or sort of where your thought process is the night before as to what you want to write the next day. That way when you sit down to write, you won't have that blank page anxiety where you just have this cursor blinking and staring you in the face. It's really nice to have an idea as to what you're going to write the next day, and it can also make you more excited and more motivated to keep writing when you have an idea as to where your story is going. My third tip to stay on track for NaNoWriMo is to create a reward system, and this is something I talked about in one of my recent videos. Again, I will pop it up on the screen, but creating a reward system can be super beneficial when you meet your word count targets. So I would start off really small with some very basic small rewards, like maybe you'll treat yourself to a Starbucks coffee, or you will take 30 minutes out of your day to watch one of your favorite shows. With each day, I feel like the rewards should gradually increase in value so that you always have something to look forward to. A lot of my rewards tend to be more self-care type things, so taking Epsom salt bubble baths, reading inspirational, self-help, motivational type books, going to get a manicure and pedicure. Just make sure you choose a reward system that works for you and things that you actually will enjoy rewarding yourself with, because if you don't enjoy it, then it's not going to motivate you to keep writing. My fourth tip to stay on track for NaNoWriMo is to plan ahead. I have a 2-tier planning system, so I have an Erin Condren planner that I use where I physically write things down, and then I also do have the Google Calendar app on my phone. So I kind of use both of these they're intertwined, so I use them in conjunction with one another. So during the last week of October, take a look at your November calendar, and if you haven't planned out what is happening in November, this would be a great time to do so, and also to figure out how many words you need to write per day. If you're going for the 50,000 word mark, which if you write 50,000 words in the month of November, technically you win NaNoWriMo. For those 30 days in November, you will have to write 1,667 words per day in order to meet that 50,000 word count goal. November is obviously a busy month because everyone is gearing up for the holidays, so take the time now to plan out what your November looks like. If there's one week where you have a really busy week, or you're traveling one weekend, or you don't want to write any words for Thanksgiving and you want to purely enjoy that as a holiday, make a schedule for yourself so that you don't fall behind on your word count. So there may be a couple of days where you're going to have to double up on your word count, and that can sound like a lot, but if you plan this out ahead of time and set yourself up for success, then it is very likely you will continue to meet your word count throughout the month of November, and you will hit your goal by November 30th. My 5th tip is to reach out to writing buddies for support. I cannot tell you how important being involved in a writing community is. Whenever I need support, or even if I just need to vent about something or ask someone a question, I always go to my writing buddies. I go to my writing community, I come here on YouTube. Building a community for yourself of trusted writers and people that are like-minded and kind of get you and get why you're writing a book or why you're doing what you're doing is so instrumental in your success during NaNoWriMo. There's a super easy way to create your little writing community because you can actually add buddies on NaNoWriMo. So once you set up your profile and create your project, you can actually add people as buddies, and that way you can message each other through the NaNoWriMo platform and cheer each other on, motivate each other, congratulate each other, whatever you feel like doing. I love adding new people to my NaNoWriMo buddy list. I will leave the link in the description box below. I would love for you to click on it and add me as a buddy. I do get quite a few requests, so it may take me a week or so. And I promise that I will add you back as a buddy as soon as I possibly can. My 6th tip is a pretty obvious one, but it is to limit distractions as much as possible. Not too long ago, I did a video on this, so I will pop it up on the screen if you want to go watch that. In a nutshell, I find that social media tends to be one of my biggest distractions. So there are a lot of apps and tools that you can use for your phone as well as on your computer to limit your social media interaction, or there are certain apps where you can set timers and things like that, or you can black out your entire desktop or laptop screen so that you can't access anything else except for your Word document. So make sure you go check out that video if you want more tips on how to limit distractions while you're writing. Tip number 7 is to use a calendar to physically mark off the days. I find that when I can physically mark something off, whether it's a date on a calendar or it's on a piece of paper when I have my to-do list, I find that it gives me this sense of accomplishment and motivation to keep going for the next day. It feels really good to mark things off your to-do list. I found the same thing with a calendar. So you can print out a blank calendar template and you can write down the word count that you're aiming for, and when you do finish your word count for the day, then you can mark that day off on your calendar and physically use a Sharpie or a pen or whatever to mark it off. I promise it feels really good. It sounds silly, but it works. Tip number 8 is to record your word count on the NaNoWriMo website each night. The last thing you want to worry about during NaNoWriMo when you're trying to get those words in every single day is making sure that your NaNoWriMo word count is actually updated in the system. I always put a reminder in my phone around 9 p.m. to log on to the NaNoWriMo website and to update how many words I've written for that day. Because I tend to write sporadically throughout the day, maybe I'll write a little bit in the morning, some on my lunch break, and then finish up when I get home. That's 3 different times that I'm writing throughout the day. So it can be difficult to keep track of how many words you've actually written throughout the whole entire day. I like to keep a record of this in my planner, so I will make sure I write down how many words I write after each writing session, and then at the end of the day, I will log on to NaNoWriMo, I will add all of those numbers up, and I will plug that into the NaNoWriMo word count tracker. Trust me, if you delay in doing this, it's only going to stress you out more because it's really easy to forget how many words you wrote the previous day. Tip number 9 is to switch up your environment. If you find that your writing's becoming stale or you don't feel as motivated, a lot of the time our environment and where we're writing has a lot to do with our productivity as a writer, especially during NaNoWriMo. Oftentimes I like to write in my office because I've made it a place where I enjoy being. I like my surroundings, I feel creative when I'm here, but I'm not always in my office. And sometimes I don't want to be in my office. Sometimes I would rather be at a coffee shop with my headphones, like Starbucks, or sometimes I'd rather be in a more comfortable chair or be, I guess you could say, horizontal. So I like to kind of lay on the couch with my little lap desk and write that way. Sometimes I like to go to Barnes & Noble. So if your writing routine for NaNoWriMo is starting to feel monotonous, try changing it up. by changing your environment. And my last and final tip, number 10, is to make sure you take care of yourself during the month of November, and every month for that matter. NaNoWriMo can be really fun and super rewarding, but it can also take a toll on your health. Last year, unfortunately, I was sick for the first 2 weeks of November, and I still was able to write my words for the most part. I feel like I really caught up in the last 2 weeks of November. But you just have to remember to take care of yourself. Make sure you're eating well, you're exercising, you're taking time to meditate or to journal. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're taking breaks and resting as needed. Sometimes I think we can get so focused on our goals that we forget to simply take care of ourselves. I found when I have really busy days, sometimes I forget to eat, and then I'll get a really bad headache or migraine, and then I'll make a poor, unhealthy food choice, and I won't exercise, and I feel like that kind of negative streak continues. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like. Don't forget to eat, don't forget to drink a lot of water, don't forget to get a lot of rest and sleep, and take breaks as needed. You do not have to write every single day for the month of November. If you only want to write 6 days, that's fine. That just means your word count is going to be a little bit higher for those 6 days, so that 7th day every week you can rest. Everyone is different, so just find what works best for you. So there you have it. Those are my 10 tips to help you stay on track during NaNoWriMo. If you like the content today, please give this video a thumbs up to support my channel, and I would also love for you to subscribe so you do not miss out on any future writing advice videos. All of my Amazon best-selling books, The Alpha Drive, The Order of Omega, Restitution, and Shadow Crown, are available for purchase on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, as well as the Book Depository and Books A Million. You can also order signed copies of all of my books for just a few dollars more than if you were to buy them on Amazon. For more information on how to get your hands on autographed copies, please go to my website at KristenMartinBooks.com and click on the Buy Books tab on the menu bar. If you are a fan of audiobooks, make sure you check out my affiliate link with Audible in the description box below. You can get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial for their service. So if you haven't checked them out, make sure you do that. I do offer some writerly services such as first chapter critiques, as well as 30-minute and 60-minute Skype consultations. And if you are a teacher, educator, or librarian and you're looking for an author to come speak at your school, you can book me for a school visit. To get more information, go to my website at KristenMartinBooks.com and click on the Services Offered tab, as well as the School Visits tab. And I know it is a ways away, but I will be attending BookCon in New York City June 2nd and June 3rd next year. I will be in booth number 1242 selling and signing copies of my books, so I hope to see all of you there. If you're not already following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, make sure you do that for daily writing inspiration and advice, as well as to stay up to date on any price promotions, announcements, or giveaways that might be going on. And if you have any questions or think of a topic for one of my future videos, please leave it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the other #ProjectWriteTube videos. The link to the playlist is in the description box below, and I would love for you to hit that subscribe button on your way out. Don't forget I post new writing advice videos on Mondays and personal day in the life vlogs every other Thursday. I will see you guys next time. Bye!